showtime!
Listen up, all you broke-ass Mona wannabes. I know most of you are so poor you dream of the day you'll be able to actually afford an Omni-Ubiquity net, and I know this because I've seen my community screenshots in my Discord, and they got nothing. But how about you use that 8-hour-a-day window you've allocated to complaining how there's absolutely nothing to do in Genshin Impact on social media every day and actually do something productive with your time, but not doing anything actually productive like going outside or building on applicable life skills. Let's not be ridiculous. What I mean is getting off your ass and farming some elites. With all the new zones we've gotten since release, we either have enough or almost have enough elites to actually reach the 400 elite cap in just our own worlds. But killing every single elite that's alive in the world, that takes a lot of effort. And if there's one thing I know a lot of gamers don't like, it's effort. People generally want the quickest and the easiest way that takes the least amount of effort. And that is exactly what I've done here. By trimming the fat from the routes I've used for basically 2 years now, I've created what is more or less the most optimal route. I've taken into account the small enemies that actually accompany the elites because they do give extra Mora. Did my best to limit teleporting as much as possible for you PS4 players. And I've tried to sprinkle in a little bit of every single enemy type. That way, if you do need weapon materials still, you'll get some from this. There are 3 types of elites. You got the 600 Mora thick boys that are going to give the most amount of Mora, the large rift hounds which for some reason have a category of their own and give 400 Mora, then there is a whole bunch of 200 Mora elites, which will mostly just be cramming about 4,000 Lumen Sentinels down your throat. Seriously, there are a lot of them in the world. Now one option is to kill only the 600 Mora elites in about 7 to 8 worlds, because there's about 50 to 60 600 Mora elites in any given world. But given that many of these elites spawn near lesser elites, and that also takes a lot of worlds, and that probably to eat up a lot of time, it's not really a realistic option. But if you did it, you'd get 240k Mora a day, or 7.2 mil a month. That is 2.5 times what an entire paid battle pass will give you over the course of 42 days. And that's if you don't sell any of the artifacts that the elites are going to give you. However, let's talk more realistic. The actual run I made is meant to be done in just your own world. Kills roughly about 280 elites, and will net you a little over 80,000 raw Mora, not counting any small enemies you might kill along the way, plus artifacts you can then sell afterward, or keep for food, but it can add quite a bit of money. What you're seeing in the background right now is how many artifacts I got from just doing a single run of this route. I made sure my inventory was totally free of unlocked food, that way I could see exactly how much I was going to get from this run. As you can see, 56,000 extra Mora if I decide to sell the artifacts. There are some investigation spots that this route passes by that allows you to get a couple greens and grays like you see I have here, but if you already do a route, you're going to get them anyway. First, we have a pretty big disclaimer about elite farming, more like a heads up. Surumi Island. If you did not know, this island is unpredictable. The elite schedule changes every single day. There are patterns. It is not completely unpredictable, but it is not reliable. It is not included in my route. There are some enemies that are guaranteed, like the Rift Hounds. They are pretty much guaranteed to be in the spots they're in, except for the one on the beach here. If you learn where mobs generally are on this island, it is a very rewarding place to go because it is very elite dense, and there are guaranteed spots like I said, which are right here, but I still didn't include them in the totals for my run because I don't expect people to really want to do this island. That being said, the southernmost island is pretty dense with elites, and honestly I just like fighting Rift Hounds, so I usually go there. The chasm was one of the best things for elite farming that we've ever got. It's got lots of 600 Mora elites, all thanks to the Black Serpents. It's got a couple Ruin Graders in it, it's even got a couple large Vishaps. And my absolute favorite new spot to hit up here in the bottom right. Next up in Mondstadt, there's really not much. I included this one spot with an Abyss Mage and the 3 Rift Hounds because, you know, maybe people still need Rift Hounds and maybe people just actually want to see Mondstadt. Mondstadt itself is not an elite dense region. It's got a lot of large hilly churl, a couple Ruin Guards, some Abyss Mages stuff, nothing really too worthwhile going there for, and it's definitely not as packed as the other regions are. And if you're wanting to make a cut from this run to make it even shorter, I would cut this spot out. Dragonspine is of course part of Mondstadt, but for this, I'm considering it different. Dragonspine is a lot more dense than Mondstadt is. It's got much more high value elites. We got a few Frost Law Churls and even a Ruin Grader if you really want to go down there. However, if you want to cut even more spots from this route, the Ruin Grader is quite possibly one of them because it is quite a long walk over. The Sisson Mage and the 2 Pyro Abyss agents are also maybe on the chopping block if you really want to slim down to as little time as humanly possible, but they are relatively efficient. It's just a short swim and then you're there. On to Northern Liyue. There's really not much to say about up here. The little green spots here, these are Eyes of the Storm. They don't have an official icon and I was too lazy to make one myself, so instead you get a green Bishop. They may not have their own material, but they do still drop 600 Mora and they do have a chance of dropping artifacts, so they're definitely worth killing. Leo and Surface Chasm are very straightforward areas, nothing really wonky going on here. I did remove 3 elites. If you go there, you'll definitely find them. They are easy to spot. Now over to the Stone Forest, where I'm sure a lot of players, maybe in their newbie days, are very familiar with getting your ass handed to you by 4 ruin guards at the same time. It's a very dense area, and if you bring in any Animo character with you, you can easily take care of the 3 Abyss mages that are up top because they are all 3 different elements, so a couple of swirls and you will break pretty much all their shields. First island of Inazuma. The one thing worth mentioning here is these 4 ruin sentinels, they are underground. You go to that waypoint, you go up some stairs, they'll all be right there and not in the water. These 3 here like to rotate around this whole area. Sometimes they'll be by the ruin grader, sometimes they'll be by the lone ruin sentinel. You know, you'll find them, they're around. And it's my personal belief that no elite farming route in this game is complete without visiting these 2 Fatui. You gotta stop their date at all costs. It's not that I think love is dead or anything, just these 2 are. This right here is one of my favorite elite farming spots in the entire game. If you're familiar with my videos, you've probably seen me kill on this beach just for filler footage many times. The only thing that needs mentioning in Watatsumi is that there is an electro large hurl right here. It won't be there at first. You won't be able to see it. However, the moment you engage the small hilly turtle or destroy the small structures around him, the large hilly turtle will pop out. And when he does spawn, do try to aim his charge away from the cliff. You don't want any weird shit like what's about to happen to me here happen. It can work out, but it's wonky nonetheless. Now, if you notice here, I gave up on individual markers for ruin sentinels because this area is so crammed full of the fuckers that I wasn't even gonna bother. It would just be a big jumbled mess. Let me be real, this spot is a really good spot. There are so many elites, but they're all ruin sentinels, and I am so sick of fighting ruin sentinels. Whether it's the stupid Doritos that teleport away from you, or the little spider ones with their stupid shield that just screws over so many characters, especially Ganyu. And yeah, I know, they're not spiders, they have 4 legs. You know what they are?
Pure garbage!
And that's being generous. There's a lot of times where I try to pick only the best of the best spots to do a little bit of elite farming because I feel like it, or I have maybe 20 minutes to kill, and I still don't do this spot. Despite how many elites it has, it's just kind of annoying. They're not really that bad, it's just, they have invincibility phases, at least for some characters who can't bypass the shield. They don't like to group up in the case of the Dorito ones. They're just nuisances. And lastly, we have Enka no Mio, one of the densest places in the entire game in terms of elites, and high value elites too. Now, it is going to be ideal to have a cryo character in your party for the Enka no Mio, at least while you're doing the Abyss Heralds and Abyss Lectors. There are 4 of them in this map total, 2 of each. And as I'm sure many of you probably know by now from the Spiral Abyss or any other time you encounter them, trying to kill them without the proper elements takes a long ass time, and it will not be efficient to do that for 600 more. It would be better to kill basically any other elites in the world. Another thing you're going to encounter several times in Enka no Mio are wolves that won't spawn unless you walk over the area they're in. This is the case for every single time you see a trio of Rift Hounds on this map. It may take a little bit to get used to where they are initially, but you will get used to it after a while, and you can always mark them very specifically on your map with a marker to help you out and to teach you the spot basically. These ones right here are sitting inside of a broken wall. Again, just walk over them, make them spawn. The lava turtle right here is underground, as well as a large hilly turtle that I didn't mark here, but you can go out of your way to kill it. It's not a big inconvenience. All in all, the run's going to take you about an hour to 2 hours, depending on your familiarity with it and your kill speeds and who you kill with, or at level as well, if you're playing at a lower than max or you're just not quite at max yet. If you're really looking for ways to extend your daily playtime, or you want to have something to do co-op with a friend, this is an excellent way to do that. I enjoy playing co-op in this way, more so than domains. Domains are very finite, you're done them in really a short amount of time. This, you can actually play with someone for a good amount of time. You can even do both worlds, or 3 or 4, however many people you have to play with. You would just have to adjust the run, lessen how comprehensive it is and do only the best of the best. If even this sounds like too much of a commitment for you and you're wanting an even shorter run, I would recommend doing the second island of Inazuma, the underground of the chasm, and probably all of Enka no Mio, or at least everything but the very first starting area. I didn't even really talk about EXP. You are getting an EXP for 4 characters, assuming you're actually doing this solo, and it may not be a lot, but you are getting it on 4 different characters, and that's part of why I never take characters to max level. I elite farm a lot, and and you do get experience. It's enough that I have several characters that have gained multiple levels just from this alone, and I don't even elite farm as much as I used to. I will be doing something exactly like this, but for artifacts and enhancement ore, well, mining ore. Again, with the general premise of the least amount of effort for the greatest amount of reward. If you liked this and you found it helpful, don't forget to give it a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel for more stuff like this, and well, just anything. I make whatever I want, which is a lot of random shit. Links to my socials down below if you want to support me. There's links to my membership, Patreon, all that stuff, and I also have a second channel that I just made for roguelikes, rogue games, strategy, whatever I feel like, mostly rogues because they are my favorite game genre. Oh, and I almost forgot that I will be linking the images of these routes below. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to stop some Fatui from dating, and I will see you in the next one.